The Great Hall of Nexus Prime Station buzzed with voices from across the galaxy. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in their assigned seats, watching the human ambassador walk to the center platform. Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim moved slowly, his old legs carrying him with dignity toward the speaking area. His dark suit looked simple compared to the glowing robes and metal armor worn by the other delegates. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Hyunwoo began, his voice clear and steady. Earth requests membership in your alliance. We offer friendship, trade, and cooperation with all peaceful species. A loud laugh echoed through the hall. Councillor Velthar of the Corvan Empire stood up, his tall blue form towering over his seat. Friendship? He said, his voice full of mockery. What could your tiny world possibly offer us? More laughter filled the room. The spider-like necktie clicked their approval. The floating Zephyrians hummed with amusement. Even the usually quiet rock people of Granite Prime made grinding sounds that served as their version of laughter. Your ships, continued Velthar, pointing at a display screen that showed Earth's visible fleet. These ancient metal boxes you call warships? My personal yacht has better weapons than your strongest battleship. Hyunwoo looked at the screen showing the human vessel New Seoul. Captain So-Young Park commanded that ship, and right now she was probably listening to this conversation from the bridge. The New Seoul looked exactly like what the aliens expected. Old, slow, and weak. Its hull showed signs of wear, and its weapons seemed outdated by galactic standards. Our technology may seem simple, Hyunwoo replied calmly, but we have learned much about space travel and defense. Defense? Another alien spoke up. This one belonged to the insect-like Swarm Collective. Your entire fleet has maybe 50 ships. The Corvan Empire alone has 10,000 vessels. What could you possibly defend against? The human ambassador's face remained unchanged, but those who knew him well might have noticed a tiny smile at the corner of his mouth. We defend what matters to us, he said simply. On the display, technical details of human ships appeared. The aliens studied the information with growing amusement. The numbers showed exactly what Earth wanted them to see. Weak shields, slow engines, and basic weapons. Hidden deep in the data were small errors that engineer Ji-Hoon Choi had carefully placed there. These mistakes made human technology look even more primitive than it actually was. Look at this, laughed Morgeth, the Corvan scientist. Their fastest ship moves at barely half-light speed. Their weapons cannot even pierce standard defensive shields. How did they manage to reach the stars at all? Very carefully, Hyunwoo answered, and this time several people definitely saw him smile. Dr. Eun-ji Nam sat in the human observation area, taking notes on every species present. As Earth's top expert on alien biology, she studied how each race reacted to the presentation. The aggressive species like the Corvans showed clear contempt. The more peaceful races seemed embarrassed by the mockery, but did nothing to stop it. A few species watched silently, their expressions unreadable. Perhaps, suggested the elderly wise one from the Kethamori delegation, we should consider what humans have accomplished despite their apparent limitations. Reaching space travel independently shows considerable determination. Velthar waved away the comment. Determination means nothing without power. Their entire solar system has one inhabited planet. They have no colonies, no mining operations, no military bases beyond their homeworld. What threat could they possibly pose to anyone? Commander Taemin Yu, watching from his ship in Earth's orbit, almost laughed at that statement. If only the aliens knew about the hidden bases on Mars, the secret facilities in the asteroid belt, and the shipyards concealed behind the outer planets. But that knowledge would remain secret for now. We ask only for the chance to prove our worth, Hyunwoo continued. Allow us to show what humans can contribute to galactic peace and prosperity. The voting began immediately. Species after species rejected Earth's application. The Corvans voted no with obvious pleasure. The Swarm Collective buzzed their negative response. The Trade Federation calculated that humans offered too little profit potential. Even some neutral species decided that Earth was too weak to be a useful ally. The decision is unanimous, announced the council speaker. Earth's application for membership is denied. However, considering your species' primitive state and potential vulnerability, the council votes to place your system under protective observation. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. What does this protective observation involve? Corvan ships will patrol your system to ensure no hostile forces threaten your world, Velthar explained with false kindness. We will also station technical advisors on your planet to help improve your technology and society. Of course, certain restrictions will apply to your military development and space exploration activities. The human ambassador understood perfectly. Earth was being treated like a child that needed adult supervision. Worse, they were being placed under the control of the very species that had mocked them most openly. "We are grateful for the Council's concern," Hyunwoo replied, his voice betraying no emotion. "When do these protective measures begin?" "Immediately," Velthar smiled, showing too many sharp teeth. "My fleet will arrive at your system within the week. I trust your people will cooperate fully with our security requirements." As the council session ended, delegates filed out while discussing the day's events. Most seemed to have already forgotten about the humans. A few species representatives approached Hyunwoo with sympathetic words, but none offered real help. Captain So-Young Park received the transmission from Nexus Prime while her ship drifted near Jupiter's moons. Her crew gathered around the communication console to hear their ambassador's report. When the message finished, her bridge fell silent. "Orders, Captain?" asked her first officer. So-Young looked out at the gas giant before them. Hidden in those swirling clouds were installations that would surprise the entire galaxy. "We continue our mission," she said quietly, "and we wait for Admiral Donghyun's signal." Light years away, in a secret base built inside a hollowed asteroid, Admiral Donghyun Lee reviewed the Council's decision. Around him, holographic displays showed the true extent of humanity's space presence. Hundreds of ships, dozens of hidden bases, and weapons technology that surpassed anything the galaxy had seen, all of it carefully concealed from alien sensors. "How long do we wait?" asked General Subin Lim, Earth's actual military commander. "Until they force our hand," the Admiral replied. "Hyunwoo will give us the signal when the time comes. Until then, we remain invisible." Back on Nexus Prime, Hyunwoo prepared for his journey home. As he packed his simple belongings, he reviewed the recordings his equipment had made during the council session. Every insult, every laugh, every dismissive comment was preserved. Soon every human military commander would hear exactly what the galaxy thought of their species. The ambassador's aide, a young woman named Mi-young, watched him work. "Sir, are you concerned about the Corvin occupation?" Hyunwoo paused in his packing. "Mi-young, do you know what humans are truly excellent at?" "No, sir." "We are excellent at being underestimated," he said with that small smile returning. "And we are even better at learning from our enemies while they are not paying attention." As his ship departed Nexus Prime, Hyunwoo looked back at the massive station. Representatives from hundreds of worlds lived and worked there, convinced of their own superiority. They had no idea that human observers had been studying them for months, learning their weaknesses, mapping their technology, and preparing for the day when patience would no longer be enough. The galaxy had made its choice. Earth was weak, primitive, and harmless. Soon, they would learn the price of that assumption. 6 months had passed since the Council's decision, and the Corvin ships now filled Earth's solar system like an infection. Velthar's flagship, a massive vessel called Dominion's Pride, orbited Earth itself while smaller ships patrolled every planet and major asteroid. The aliens had wasted no time in making themselves at home. Captain So-Young Park watched from her bridge as another Corvin transport approached her ship. This was the third inspection this week, and each one grew more insulting than the last. The aliens no longer bothered to hide their contempt for human technology. "Captain, incoming transmission from the Corvin vessel," reported her communications officer. "Put it through," So-Young replied, straightening her uniform. The blue face of Commander Zektar appeared on her screen. His expression showed the same boredom and superiority that all Corvins displayed when dealing with humans. "Human vessel New Sol, prepare to be boarded for routine security inspection." "Understood, Commander," So-Young replied politely. "Our airlocks are ready for your team." What the Corvins didn't know was that every time they boarded a human ship, hidden sensors recorded everything about their equipment, their procedures, and their technology. Engineer Ji-Hoon Choi had designed these sensors to look like ordinary ship maintenance systems. The aliens walked past them without a second thought. On Earth, the situation grew worse each day. Corvin technical advisors had established offices in every major city, demanding access to human research facilities, manufacturing centers, and government buildings. They claimed to be helping humanity advance, but Dr. Yoonji Nam knew better. She sat in her laboratory, pretending to work on alien biological samples while actually studying the advisors themselves. Her hidden cameras and sensors revealed disturbing information about their true intentions. The Corvins were not just studying human technology, they were studying humans. Dr. Nam called her assistant Jae-woo. The Corvin scientist Morgeth wants to see our genetic research files. Yoonji looked up from her microscope. Tell him the files are being prepared. We should have them ready in a few days. Of course, the files they would provide were carefully edited versions that showed exactly what Ji-hoon wanted the aliens to see. The real research remained hidden in secret facilities that the Corvins had no idea existed. Meanwhile, Commander Tae-min-yu dealt with increasingly bold demands from the alien patrol ships. His planetary defense force was required to escort Corvin vessels whenever they traveled between planets. The aliens treated these escorts like servants, often changing course without warning or demanding immediate responses to trivial requests. "Sir," reported Lieutenant Hyo-jin from the communications station, "the Corvin patrol leader wants us to clear a path through the asteroid belt. He says our mining ships are in his way." Tae-min almost smiled at that. The mining ships in the asteroid belt were actually construction vessels, building hidden facilities under the cover of legitimate operations. But the Corvin saw only what they expected to see: primitive humans scratching at rocks for basic materials. "Comply with their request," Tae-min ordered, "and make sure to send them detailed scans of the asteroid field. We want to be helpful." The scans naturally would show several large asteroids that were actually concealed military bases, but Ji-hoon's sensor masking technology made them appear as ordinary space rocks. The more information the humans provided, the more the aliens trusted their deception. Back on Nexus Prime, Ambassador Hyun-woo continued his diplomatic work, now representing a protected species rather than an independent world. The change in treatment was obvious and humiliating. Other delegates barely acknowledged him, and when they did speak to him, it was with the tone people used for children or pets. "Ambassador Kim," said Trade Minister Vexai of the Federation, "I understand your people produce something called coffee. Perhaps we could arrange a trade agreement." Hyun-woo listened to the proposed terms with careful attention. The aliens wanted to buy Earth's entire coffee production, for prices that barely covered transportation costs. In return, they offered outdated technology that humans had already surpassed decades ago. "The terms seem reasonable," Hyun-woo replied, knowing that Earth's hidden agricultural facilities could easily replace any coffee sent off-world. "However, we would need time to increase production to meet your requirements." What he didn't mention was that human agricultural scientists had already developed crops that could grow in conditions the aliens couldn't imagine. The hidden colonies throughout the solar system were completely self-sufficient, something the galaxy believed impossible for such a primitive species. The real crisis began when Velthar announced new security measures during a system-wide broadcast. His image appeared on screens throughout Earth's solar system, his expression showing the satisfaction of someone who believed he held absolute power. "Citizens of the Sol system," he began, his translator making his words sound formal and cold. "Recent intelligence suggests that hostile forces may attempt to infiltrate your system. Therefore, additional security measures must be implemented immediately." The new measures were devastating in their scope. All human ships would require Corvin escorts when traveling between planets. All communication networks would be monitored by Corvin systems. Most importantly, Corvin scientific teams would be granted access to any facility they wished to inspect. "These measures are for your own protection," Velthar continued. "Primitive species often cannot recognize threats to their own security. We will provide this recognition for you." On Mars, the hidden military base received Velthar's broadcast with growing anger. Admiral Dong-hyun Lee stood before a holographic display, showing Corvin ship positions throughout the solar system. His senior staff surrounded him, waiting for orders that might finally free them from this charade. "Admiral," said Captain Jin Song, commander of the stealth vessel Invisible Thunder, "my ship could disable their flagship before they knew we were there." "Not yet," Dong-hyun replied, though his voice carried the strain of months of forced patience. "We wait for the signal." That signal came sooner than expected. 3 days after Velthar's announcement, a Corvin inspection team arrived at one of Earth's orbital research stations. The station, which appeared to be studying asteroid mining techniques, was actually a cover for weapons research. The Corvins had no way of knowing this, but their inspection would certainly reveal it. Dr. Young-Soo Han, the station commander, watched the alien shuttle approach with growing concern. His hidden weapon systems could destroy the shuttle easily, but such action would reveal the station's true nature. Instead, he activated the emergency protocols that Ji-hoon had designed for exactly this situation. As the Corvin team boarded the station, their sensors detected exactly what the humans wanted them to find: equipment for processing asteroid materials, research into efficient mining techniques, and completely harmless scientific experiments. The weapons research facilities had been hidden behind false walls that appeared solid to alien scanners. But the Corvins had brought something new this time. Morgoth carried a biological scanner designed to detect human genetic material. His real purpose was not inspecting the station's research, but determining how many humans lived and worked throughout the solar system. Interesting, Morgoth muttered as his scanner revealed far more human genetic traces than expected. You have many more workers here than your reports indicated. Young-Soo's heart raced, but his expression remained calm. We rotate crews frequently. Many people have worked here over the past few months. The scanner results puzzled Morgoth. The genetic traces suggested thousands of humans had been present at this single station, far more than Earth's official population figures could support. Either the humans were lying about their numbers, or something else was happening that the Corvins didn't understand. When the inspection team returned to their ship, Morgoth immediately contacted Velthar with his findings. The conversation that followed would change everything. The humans are hiding something, Morgoth reported. Their population numbers don't match what we're detecting. I recommend a complete biological survey of their entire system. Velthar's image on the communication screen showed interest for the first time in months. Explain. Either they have far more people than they claim, or they have people in places we haven't found yet. My scans suggest human presence throughout the system, not just on Earth. The Corvin commander leaned back in his command chair. Hidden populations could indicate hidden resources, and hidden resources could mean hidden weapons. Should we investigate further? Morgoth asked. Immediately, Velthar replied. If the humans are deceiving us about their numbers, they may be deceiving us about other things as well. Begin deep scans of every planet, moon, and asteroid in this system. On Earth, Dr. Yoon-ji Nam received an encrypted message that made her blood run cold. Her hidden monitoring systems had intercepted the Corvin conversation. The aliens were about to discover everything. She immediately sent a coded transmission to Ambassador Hyunwoo on Nexus Prime. The message was simple and appeared to be routine diplomatic correspondence, but its real meaning was clear to anyone who knew the code. The time for hiding was almost over. The deep system scans began at dawn, Earth time. Corvin survey ships spread throughout the solar system like a net, their powerful sensors probing every piece of rock larger than a house. Admiral Dong-hyun Lee watched from his hidden command center as the enemy ships moved closer to discoveries that would change everything. Admiral, they're approaching the Mars installations, reported Captain Woo Jin Kang from his position aboard the experimental weapons ship Thunderstrike. Estimated 12 hours before their scans penetrate our outer defenses. Dong-hyun studied the tactical display with the calm expression of a man who had planned for this moment for years. Around him, the command center buzzed with quiet activity, as staff officers coordinated with hidden bases throughout the system. The time for secrets was almost over. Signal all units to prepare for revelation protocol, he ordered, but maintain concealment until I give the word. On Nexus Prime, Ambassador Hyunwoo received his encrypted daily briefing with growing tension. The Corvin discovery of humanity's true presence was now inevitable. More concerning were the reports of Velthar's recent statements to other council members about the human problem. The breaking point came when civilian transport ship Harmony departed from Earth's orbital station carrying 300 passengers to the Mars colonies. The ship followed established flight paths, transmitted proper identification codes, and posed no threat to anyone. It also carried families, including children, traveling to see relatives working in the supposed mining operations. Commander Zektar intercepted the ship halfway to Mars. His patrol vessel, Crushing Fist, was nearly 10 times larger than the civilian transport, armed with weapons that could destroy a small moon. Against an unarmed passenger ship, it was like a battleship attacking a rowboat. Human vessel Harmony, halt immediately and prepare for boarding. Zektar's transmission crackled through space. Captain Byung-ho Im, a civilian pilot with 40 years of experience, responded with professional courtesy. Corvin vessel, we are a passenger transport on a scheduled flight to Mars colony. We carry no cargo requiring inspection. All human vessels require inspection, Zektar replied. Cut your engines and await our boarding party. But something was different this time. Zektar's sensors showed readings that didn't match previous scans of human ships. The transport's engines produced energy signatures that seemed too advanced for human technology. Worse, his deep scans revealed hidden compartments throughout the ship. Human captain, explain the concealed areas in your vessel's structure, Zektar demanded. Byung-ho's heart sank. The hidden compartments contained emergency supplies for the Mars colonies. Food, medicine, and equipment that would reveal the true size of humanity's off-world population. They are storage areas for passenger belongings, he said. Knowing the lie would be discovered in minutes. Zektar's boarding party found exactly what they expected to find, and far more than they were prepared for. The hidden compartments contained supplies sufficient for thousands of people, not the few hundred that Earth claimed lived on Mars. The equipment included advanced technology that surpassed anything in the Corvin databases. This ship is evidence of human deception, Zektar announced. All passengers will be detained for questioning. Captain Byung-ho activated his emergency beacon, sending a coded message to Earth about the situation. Then he made the hardest decision of his life. All passengers to emergency pods. Abandon ship immediately. Captain, what are you doing? Asked his first officer. Saving lives, Byung-ho replied as he programmed the ship's autopilot. Get everyone off this ship now. The escape pods launched just as Zektar's ship opened fire. The Harmony disappeared in a brilliant flash, taking with it all evidence of humanity's true capabilities and the life of Captain Byung-ho Im, who stayed behind to ensure all passengers escaped safely. The attack on civilian refugees sent shockwaves throughout the human population. On Earth, massive protests demanded action against the Corvins. On Mars, the hidden military bases received thousands of requests from civilians begging to join the fight. Throughout the asteroid belt, concealed installations prepared for war. Velthar's response to the incident was swift and brutal. He declared the destruction of the Harmony to be justified defense against human deception. Then he delivered an ultimatum that would forever change the relationship between Earth and the galaxy. Humans of the Sol system, his message began, transmitted on all frequencies. Your species has been discovered in acts of systematic deception. Your true population, your hidden technology, and your concealed activities represent a threat to galactic security. Admiral Dong-hyun listened to the ultimatum from his command center, surrounded by officers whose families had been threatened, whose friends had died, and whose patience had finally run out. You have 72 hours to surrender completely, Velthar continued. All humans will be relocated to Earth for processing and evaluation. All human technology will be confiscated for security analysis. All human military personnel will be detained indefinitely. General Subin Lim, Earth's true military commander, stood beside the Admiral as the message continued. Sir, we have confirmation from all hidden installations. Every base is ready. Every ship is prepared. Every weapon system is operational. And if you refuse, Velthar's message concluded, the Corvin Empire will consider humanity a hostile species and respond accordingly. We have the firepower to sterilize every planet in your system. Do not test our patience. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. For months, humanity had endured insults, theft, and oppression. They had watched their people be treated like animals, their achievements dismissed as primitive foolishness, and their requests for respect answered with mockery. Now they had watched 300 innocent civilians murdered for the crime of traveling to visit their families. Admiral Dong-hyun stood slowly, his weathered face showing the weight of command and the burden of decisions that would affect the entire galaxy. Around him, holographic displays showed the true extent of humanity's military power. Ships that could move faster than light itself. Weapons that could crack planets, defenses that could stop entire fleets. Send a message to Ambassador Hyunwoo, he ordered. Tell him the masquerade is over. On Nexus Prime, Hyunwoo received the Admiral's message while sitting in his modest quarters. The words were simple. They have forced our hand. Revelation protocol is authorized. May history judge us kindly. The ambassador stood and walked to his window, looking out at the massive station where hundreds of species lived and worked together. Many of them had participated in humanity's humiliation. Many had laughed at Earth's weakness. All of them were about to learn that appearances could be deceiving. Hyunwoo activated his personal communicator and sent a single message to Earth. 3 words that would change everything. The tiger wakes. Light years away, Captain So-young Park received the message on her bridge. Her crew, who had endured months of alien contempt and barely controlled their anger, looked to her for orders. "All stations, this is the captain," she announced. "Disable all concealment systems. All hands to battle stations. It's time to show them who we really are." Throughout the solar system, the same message spread to every hidden base, every concealed ship, every secret installation. The greatest deception in galactic history was about to end. On his flagship, Velthar sat in his command chair, confident that the humans would surrender within hours. His sensors showed the same pathetic ships, the same primitive bases, the same weak species that had amused him for months. His tactical officer suddenly straightened at his station. "Commander, I'm detecting energy surges throughout the human system." "Explain," Velthar demanded. "Unknown power sources are activating. The readings are significant." Velthar looked at his main display, expecting to see human ships powering up their pitiful weapons in a futile gesture of defiance. Instead, his sensors detected something that shouldn't exist. Ships were appearing where no ships had been moments before. Not arriving from other locations, but simply materializing as if they had been invisible. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. "Impossible," Velthar whispered as his displays showed energy readings that exceeded anything in Corvan databases. His communication officer's voice cracked with fear. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the humans." The image that appeared on Velthar's screen was not the humble ambassador Hyunwoo or the simple Captain So-young Park. It was a human he had never seen before, wearing a military uniform that spoke of authority and power. "I am Admiral Donghyun Lee of the Earth Defense Force," the human said, his voice carrying no trace of the submission Velthar expected. "You have 72 hours to withdraw all forces from our system." Velthar laughed, but the sound held less confidence than before. "You dare threaten the Corvan Empire with your primitive toys?" "I make no threats," the Admiral replied calmly. "I state facts. You have murdered our civilians. You have oppressed our people. You have mocked our offers of friendship." Around Velthar, his bridge crew worked frantically to understand what their sensors were telling them. The human ships appeared to be using technology that surpassed even the most advanced galactic civilizations. "You wanted to see our true capabilities," Admiral Donghyun continued. "Look around you." Velthar did look, and what he saw fill the first ship to decloak was Captain Jin Song's invisible thunder, materializing directly behind Velthar's flagship like a ghost becoming solid. The Corvan commander spun in his chair as alarms screamed throughout his bridge. Warning of a massive vessel that hadn't existed seconds before. "Impossible," Velthar breathed, staring at the tactical display. The human ship was twice the size of his own flagship and radiated energy signatures that made no sense according to everything the galaxy knew about human technology. But the invisible thunder was only the beginning. Throughout the solar system, stealth fields collapsed like falling curtains. Hidden shipyards that had posed as asteroid mining operations revealed their true nature. Construction facilities disguised as research stations activated weapon systems that had been concealed for years. Most shocking of all, entire fleets of warships appeared in formations that surrounded every Corvan vessel in the system. Commander Taemin Yu stood on the bridge of what the aliens had believed was a simple patrol craft. Now the Soul's Hammer revealed its true configuration, with weapon ports opening along its hull and shield generators creating energy barriers stronger than anything the Corvans possessed. "Corvan vessels," Taemin transmitted on all frequencies, "you are surrounded and outgunned. Power down your weapons and prepare to receive boarding parties." On the far side of Mars, Captain Woojin Kang's Thunderstrike emerged from behind the red planet, its experimental plasma lance already charging. The weapon system had been designed in secret, based on principles that Earth scientists had discovered decades before making contact with alien species. "Target the Corvan heavy cruiser Vengeance," Woojin ordered his weapons officer. Minimum power setting. We want to disable, not destroy. The plasma lance fired, its beam cutting through space faster than Corvin sensors could track. The energy struck the Vengeance's shield generators with surgical precision, overloading the alien defensive systems without damaging the ship's hull. In 3 seconds, the Corvin cruiser went from a powerful warship to a helpless hulk drifting in space. Throughout the Corvin fleet, similar scenes played out as human ships demonstrated technology that shouldn't exist, stealth systems that could hide entire fleets, weapons that passed through alien shields like they weren't there, defensive barriers that absorbed energy blasts without showing any strain. Velthar's tactical officer reported disaster after disaster. "Sir, the patrol group at Jupiter has been completely surrounded. The mining facility near Saturn just revealed itself as a military base. Our heavy squadron at Earth is requesting immediate assistance. But the worst revelation was yet to come. From behind Earth's moon, a ship emerged that dwarfed everything else in the system. The Eternal Vigil was Admiral Dong Hyun Lee's flagship, and its appearance sent shockwaves through every alien crew watching their sensors. The massive vessel stretched over 2 kilometers in length, its hull bristling with weapon systems that radiated power signatures off the scale of Corvin measurement devices. As it moved into position above Earth, smaller ships launched from hidden bays along its sides, adding to the swarm of human vessels now filling local space. "This is Admiral Dong Hyun Lee," came the transmission that reached every ship in the system. "All Corvin forces will stand down immediately. Any attempt to retreat will be considered an act of aggression." Velthar found his voice at last, though it shook with rage and fear. "You cannot possibly have built this fleet in secret. Our sensors would have detected construction on this scale." "Your sensors detected exactly what we wanted them to detect," Admiral Dong Hyun replied calmly. "We have been watching you for far longer than you have been watching us." The truth was even more devastating than Velthar could imagine. Humanity had known about the galactic community for over a century, sending out secret observation probes and hidden monitoring stations. They had studied alien technology, learned alien weaknesses, and prepared for the day when contact would inevitably come. When Earth finally revealed itself to the galaxy, it did so with the appearance of weakness by design. Every ship the aliens had seen was real, but they were decoys. Functional vessels designed to look primitive while concealing humanity's true capabilities. Captain So-Young Park's new soul was a perfect example. For months, Corvin inspection teams had boarded her ship, never realizing that its outdated appearance hid revolutionary technology. Now the vessel transformed before their eyes. Hidden weapon systems extending from concealed ports, advanced shield generators creating defensive barriers, and engines that suddenly showed their true power. Corvin Inspection Team Alpha. So-Young transmitted to the shuttle that had been preparing to board her ship yet again. "You are no longer welcome aboard this vessel. Return to your ship immediately." The Corvin boarding party found themselves facing human security personnel, wearing armor that their weapons couldn't penetrate and carrying devices that disabled Corvin equipment with a single pulse. What had seemed like a routine inspection of primitive humans became a demonstration of technological superiority. Engineer Ji-hoon Choi watched from his hidden laboratory as his sabotage programs activated throughout the Corvin fleet. For months, he had used Corvin inspection visits to plant hidden software in their computer systems. Now those programs began working, causing alien ships to lose navigation control, weapon targeting, and even life support systems, Admiral, Ji-hoon reported to the Eternal Vigil. "Corvin ships are experiencing systematic failures. Their weapons are offline, their engines are unreliable, and their communications are compromised." "Excellent work, Engineer," Admiral Dong Hyun replied. "Signal all units to begin acceptance of surrenders." But Velthar was not ready to surrender. The Corvin commander's pride had been shattered, his fleet humiliated, and his understanding of the galaxy turned upside down. In his rage, he made the decision that would seal his fate. "All ships target the human flagship," he ordered. "Full power. Destroy them all." The few Corvin vessels still capable of fighting opened fire on the Eternal Vigil, their weapons creating a light show of energy beams and explosive projectiles. For a moment, it seemed as if the massive human ship might be overwhelmed by the concentrated firepower. Then the smoke cleared, and the Eternal Vigil remained completely undamaged. "Impressive display," Admiral Dong Hyun commented as his ship's defensive systems effortlessly absorbed energy, that should have destroyed a small moon. "Captain Jinneh, please demonstrate our response capabilities." The invisible thunder moved with speed that Corvan eyes couldn't follow, appearing beside 3 different enemy ships in rapid succession. Each time the human vessel fired precisely targeted shots that disabled alien engines, weapons, and shields without destroying the ships themselves. Within minutes, half of Velthar's remaining fleet drifted helplessly in space. "Surrender now," Admiral Donghyun transmitted, "or we will be forced to respond with lethal force." But the demonstration wasn't over. Throughout the solar system, human installations revealed their true nature. The mining operation on Ceres opened massive weapon ports that could have destroyed the Corvan fleet with a single salvo. The research station near Pluto activated shield generators powerful enough to protect an entire planet. Most shocking of all, the primitive space elevators on Earth began launching ships, thousands of them. Small fighters, massive carriers, and support vessels emerged from what the aliens had believed were simple transportation systems. Dr. Yoonji Nam's voice joined the transmission network from her laboratory on Earth. "Corvan forces, this is Dr. Nam of Earth's Xenobiology Institute. Your biological weapon programs have been neutralized. Your genetic warfare research has been completely compromised. Surrender now, or face the consequences." The revelation that humans knew about secret Corvan bioweapons sent panic through the alien fleet. If the humans could disable their most classified projects, what else did they know? General Subin Lim coordinated the final phase of the revelation from her command center, hidden beneath Earth's surface. "All units, execute Formation Omega. Show them what a real fleet looks like." The human ships moved into a perfect sphere surrounding the Corvan forces, demonstrating coordination and tactical precision that spoke of years of training and preparation. Every alien vessel found itself targeted by multiple human ships, each equipped with weapons that could penetrate any known defense. Velthar looked around his bridge at officers whose confidence had crumbled, at displays showing impossible human technology, at a situation that had spiraled completely beyond his control. His flagship was surrounded, his fleet was disabled, and his understanding of reality had been shattered. "How?" he whispered. "You never asked the right questions." Admiral Dong Hyun's reply came through clear communication channels that bypassed all Corvan security. "You asked what we could offer you. You asked why you should fear us. You asked how we reached the stars." The human admiral's image appeared on Velthar's main screen, showing a face calm with absolute confidence. "You never asked what we had learned while we were watching you." Around the Corvan commander, his remaining ships began signaling their surrender one by one, their captains realizing that continued resistance would only lead him with. The surrender of Velthar's fleet sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy that reached far beyond Earth's solar system. Within hours, every major species received recordings of the battle that showed human technology surpassing anything in their databases. The species that had mocked Earth's primitive ships now watched in stunned silence as those same primitive vessels defeated the Corvan Empire's finest fleet without losing a single ship. Ambassador, Hyunwoo stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council, but his position had changed dramatically. The humble representative of a protected species was gone, replaced by the diplomatic voice of a major galactic power that had revealed itself overnight. "Honored members," Hyunwoo began, his voice carrying authority that hadn't been there months before. "Earth formally withdraws its application for membership in the current Galactic Alliance." The council chamber erupted in confused voices and panicked discussions. Species that had dismissed humanity now found themselves facing a power they didn't understand and couldn't predict. Instead, Hyunwoo continued, waiting for silence. "We propose the formation of a new alliance based on mutual respect, equality, and peaceful cooperation. All species will be welcome, regardless of their current technological level or military strength." The wise one from the Keth Mori delegation leaned forward with interest. His ancient species had suspected humanity's true nature from the beginning, and now his patience was rewarded. "What guarantees can you offer that this new alliance will be different from the current one?" "The guarantee of strength," Hyunwoo replied simply. "Earth's fleets will protect all member species from aggression, regardless of their size or capabilities. No species will be subjected to protective observation or forced to accept unwanted advisors." The immediate impact was visible throughout the chamber. Smaller species that had suffered under the dominance of powers like the Corvan Empire looked at each other with growing hope. For the first time in galactic history, someone was offering protection without demanding submission. Back in Earth's solar system, Admiral Donghyun Lee dealt with the practical results of humanity's revelation. Velthar sat in the brig of the Eternal Vigil, his arrogance replaced by the stunned silence of someone whose entire worldview had collapsed. "I don't understand," the former Corvan commander said, when the Admiral visited him. "How did you hide all of this? Our sensors, our intelligence, our inspections, how did we miss so much?" Admiral Donghyun sat across from his prisoner, his expression showing neither hatred nor satisfaction. "You missed it because you never considered that we might be more intelligent than you assumed. Every scan you performed, every inspection you conducted, every analysis you made was based on the belief that humans were primitive and incapable of deception. The truth was even more devastating than Velthar could comprehend. Humanity had been preparing for galactic contact since the early 21st century, when their deep space probes first detected signs of alien civilizations. Instead of announcing their presence immediately, they had chosen to watch, learn, and prepare. Captain So-Young Park now commanded not just the New Sol, but an entire exploration fleet tasked with making contact with species beyond the current galactic community. Her ships, equipped with stealth technology that surpassed anything the galaxy had seen, were already investigating civilizations in distant star systems. "Captain's log," she recorded as her fleet prepared to depart for unknown regions. "We begin our mission to expand peaceful contact throughout this galaxy and beyond. Our primary goal is to establish relationships based on respect rather than dominance." The transformation of human society was equally dramatic. Cities that had hidden underground military facilities now revealed advanced transportation systems, energy networks, and manufacturing centers. The primitive humans that aliens had dismissed were actually citizens of one of the most technologically advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Dr. Yoon-ji, Nam found herself appointed as Earth's first Minister of Interspecies Relations, tasked with helping alien refugees who fled to human space seeking protection from aggressive neighbors. Her offices, once hidden in secret laboratories, now operated openly as embassies for dozens of species. "The application process is simple," she explained to a delegation of fearful traitors whose home system had been threatened by Corvan revenge attacks. "We ask only that you respect the rights of other species and contribute to mutual defense as you are able." Engineer Ji-Hoon Choi's role changed from saboteur to teacher as Earth began sharing selected technologies with allied species. His workshops, once concealed in asteroid bases, now operated as research centers where human and alien scientists worked together to develop new innovations. "The key to our advancement," he told a group of eager alien students, "was never believing that any problem was impossible to solve. When other species said something couldn't be done, we found ways to do it anyway." The galactic response to Earth's revelation varied dramatically by species. The aggressive powers like the Corvan Empire found themselves isolated as their former victims fled to human protection. The peaceful species that had suffered under the old system eagerly joined Earth's new alliance. Most interesting was the reaction of the Kethmori, whose ancient wise one requested a private meeting with Ambassador Hyunwoo. "We knew," the elderly alien admitted, as they walked through the gardens of Nexus Prime. "Not the details, but we suspected that humanity was far more capable than they appeared. Your species has a quality that few others possess." "What quality is that?" Hyunwoo asked. "Patience," the wise one replied. "Most species reveal their full capabilities as soon as they achieve them. Humans waited, learned, and prepared. This suggests wisdom that goes beyond mere technology." The new alliance grew rapidly as species after species requested membership. Earth's protection fleets, no longer hiding their capabilities, established patrol routes throughout contested regions of the galaxy. Pirates and raiders who had operated freely under the old system found themselves facing human vessels that could track them through stealth fields and disable their ships without destroying them. Commander Taemin, you led one such patrol, his soul's hammer working alongside ships from a dozen allied species. The diversity of the fleet would have been impossible under the old alliance, where only the strongest species were allowed meaningful military roles. "All patrol units, this is Commander Yu," he transmitted during a joint exercise. "Remember, our mission is protection, not conquest. We fight only when necessary and we show mercy whenever possible. The most dramatic change occurred on Earth itself, where the end of secrecy allowed humanity to reveal the full scope of their achievements. The planet's population was actually 3 times larger than reported, with billions of humans living in underground cities, orbital habitats, and colonies throughout the solar system. General Subin Lim, now openly acknowledged as Earth's military commander, oversaw the integration of hidden forces with the planet's official defenses. Military bases that had posed as research stations or manufacturing centers revealed training facilities that had been preparing humanity for galactic warfare for decades. Our advantage was never just technology, she explained to a gathering of allied military leaders. It was preparation. While other species focused on ruling what they had, we focused on protecting what we valued. The transformation wasn't without challenges. Some human communities struggled with the end of secrecy, having lived their entire lives in hidden installations. Others found it difficult to trust alien species after months of Corvan oppression. Captain Wu Jin Kang addressed these concerns during a public broadcast from his experimental ship Thunderstrike. "We didn't reveal ourselves to dominate the galaxy," he said. "We revealed ourselves to protect it. Every species that joins our alliance makes us stronger, and every species we protect makes the galaxy safer." The long-term implications of humanity's revelation continued to unfold as the months passed. Trade networks that had been controlled by aggressive species became open markets, where all civilizations could participate equally. Scientific research that had been restricted to powerful species became collaborative efforts involving hundreds of worlds. Most importantly, the cycle of oppression that had characterized galactic politics for millennia was finally broken. Species no longer needed to choose between submission and destruction. They could choose cooperation and mutual growth. Admiral Donghyun Lee stood on the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, looking out at a view that would have been impossible months before. Human ships worked alongside vessels from dozens of species, their crews learning from each other and building friendships that crossed the boundaries of biology and culture. "Admiral," reported Captain Jin A. Song from her ship nearby, "we're receiving requests for alliance membership from 12 more species. The Zephyrians want to discuss trade agreements, and the Crystal Singers are offering to share their harmonic technologies." "Accept all reasonable requests," the Admiral replied, "and remind our new allies that membership comes with responsibilities as well as benefits." As Earth's first year as a revealed galactic power came to an end, Ambassador Hyun-woo prepared his report for the human leadership.